Court rise. Welcome to this channel, guys. It's your boy Caleb. No, actually, welcome to this court. It's YMC court and it's your judge Caleb. In today's video, I'm going to charge you and accuse you of 5 crazy laws in the UK. Now, you may not be guilty of law 1 or law 2 or law 3 or even law 4, but I guarantee you are going to be guilty of law 5. I'm going to talk to you about the backstory, why these laws were enacted and their recent applications. I'm also going to toss in some honorable mentions because there are more crazy laws in the UK that we cannot cover in this video. But you need to stick and stay because, as you can see, I've dressed as a judge, but this is not the entire apparel as a judge. I'm going to wear my wig at the end and you want to see that. So I need you to stick and stay. I'll see you around. Now, the first crazy and funny law that we are going to talk about in this video is that in the UK, it is illegal to be drunk in a pub or in a bar. I know it is crazy, but you have to listen. Now, this law dates back to the 19th century, specifically in 1872. During this era, public drunkenness was seen as a major social problem, and there was a strong anti-alcohol movement in the UK aimed at reducing excessive drinking. This was because of concerns about public order, morality, and social consequences that are associated with excessive alcohol drinking. Drunkenness was leading to violent crimes, health issues, and disorderly conduct, which affected the working class massively. And at the center of all of these was the drinking pubs and the bars. So the Licensing Act 1872 was enacted, specifically Section 12. And it states in summary, it is an offense to be drunk on licensed premises, which includes drinking pubs. It also places responsibilities on pub owners to monitor the behavior of their customers and to refuse services to those who are clearly intoxicated. Now, it's important to know that this is not talking about drinking alcohol, but being drunk by alcohol. So you're okay to drink when you go to the pub, but do not be drunk. Do not be intoxicated because that can cause disorderly conduct, right? You can stay in your house to be drunk if you want because your house is your house. It's not a licensed public environment. It's not a licensed premises. Now, in this same act, Licensing Act 1872, it states that you cannot be drunk while taking care of a cattle or horses. So in the UK, you cannot be a drunken Fulani master. But I think the framers of the constitution of the UK, or the framers of the laws of the UK, thought of this because, now get this, it makes sense because cattle herders and cattle are all seen as part of the users of our highway. So just as a driver cannot drink and drive, you as a cattle herder or a Fulani, let me put it that way, cannot also drink and take care of a cattle on the same highway that we are all using. Actually, in 2019, a man was fined about £100 because he was drunk at a train station. A train station is a licensed premise. So when you are found drunk at a licensed premise, you are actually going to be fined, right? In 2021 also, another man was fined about £80 because he admitted he was drunk or he was acting in a disorderly manner. But finding people being charged or being fined because they were drunk in a drinking pub, I've not really had cases like that. But that law under which this whole drinking in a pub comes in effect actually is working, and I've cited 2 cases for you to see. Now, the second crazy law that we are touching on in the UK is that it is illegal to carry a plank along the pavement. Now, this law was enacted in 1839 when London was expanding due to the Industrial Revolution. There were problems of overcrowding streets, chaotic constructions, and public nuisances that made everyday life in the city very difficult. The roads and the pavements were congested with people and construction materials. And considering that the roads and the pavements were narrow, and at the time there was no modern traffic laws or traffic regulations. It was easy for pedestrians to get injured by people carrying large and clumsy items or objects like planks. So, the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, Section 54 specifically, was enacted to solve this nuisance. So, subsection 8 states, every person who shall roll or carry any cask, tab, hoop or wheel, or any ladder, plank, pole, showboard, or placard upon any footway, except for the purpose of loading or unloading any cart or carried, or crossing footway, shall be liable to a penalty not more than level 2 of the standard scale. So the act empowered the Metropolitan Police to deal with these everyday nuisances. But it would interest you to know other nuisances the Metropolitan Police was empowered or is empowered to deal with by this act. Because subsection 12 of this same Metropolitan Police Act, section 54, states that it is illegal to sing profane songs in public. Now, how ridiculous is that? Who determines what a profane song is? And okay, I'm so confused. But you see, these laws, this particular law that I'm talking about, is hardly enforced because there are new laws that rightly help fit the situation that people are finding themselves in, rather than going back to apply these kind of laws. But these laws have not been repealed. They are actually still very existent in the books of the UK. So just be careful. You just might find yourself singing some profane song in public, and by the time you realize, the police is onto you. So the next crazy law we are going to talk about is a little relatable. So you might actually be guilty of it. So you have to listen up. So you wake up one morning and you realize that your room is very dirty. So you decided to clean it. So you dust off the tables, you clean cobwebs, you mop, you clean the washroom, and you are done. But you realize that your carpet is dirty or your doormat is dirty. So you remove your doormat, you remove your carpet, you went to your corridor or you went to the compound where some other people might be, and then you shook the doormat or you shook the carpet. But you forgot that you are living in the UK and you just broke a law, and that you got yourself a fine. Yes, in the UK, it is actually illegal to shake a carpet or a doormat in the street. Let me read you the law. The Metropolitan Police Act 1839, Section 60, subsection 3 states in summary that it is illegal to shake or beat a carpet in the street. You can pause to read the law yourself. The only exception in this law is that if you want to shake or beat a carpet, you can only do it before 8 a.m. And the reasoning behind it is that before 8 a.m., these are not the busy hours where people are walking about, so that you do not infect anybody or you do not cause any nuisance, any inhalation issues. But after 8 a.m., you cannot be seen beating a carpet or shaking a carpet or a doormat outside or on the street. You will find yourself fined. And although the law is still active, there has not been any recent application of this law. And according to a policeman in Cambridgeshire who was interviewed by The Sun, he said, "These are one of the many out-of-date laws which could technically land you in trouble. However, it's really important to note that while the canon of English criminal law is huge, the police do not use gotcha tactics to enforce laws that people could not reasonably be expected to know." So these laws kind of invoke the discretionary and professional judgment of the police. But if they bring you to me, I shall fine you. Now, this next law is one that I personally almost fell for just this year. And it's a little crazy. But before we get there, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to the channel. But I must thank you so much because you have really supported me. Like I told you, we are doing a subscriber count here. And the last video the massive support you gave me made me realize that you appreciate good content. You appreciate when everything I'm delivering is good. The last video gave me the most views for a long form video I've ever had on this channel, and it gave me the most subscribers as well. I've had more than 100 subscribers just by that last video, and I'm very, very thankful to all of you. Thank you so much. But the issue is, about 95% of you that watch this channel and enjoy the content have not subscribed. And me, my question is, why? I have 1 second to give you, otherwise, next. So during the summer of 2024, around August, the UK became the most unsafe place for any migrant living on any foreign land. There were about 70, if not more, protests, and most of these protests turned into violent protests. And the main topic for the protest was about migration, or specifically illegal migration. And you could see that the police were visibly overpowered. And the sad thing is that some of these violent protesters, it's not all of them, but some of these violent protesters, they did not know, or they did not care to know, the difference between legal migration and illegal migration. So as a legal migrant, if you are unlucky and you pass by or you clash with the violent protesters, you knew that your end had come, because only God could save you. As a matter of fact, in Middlesbrough, a legal migrant's car was burnt to ashes. He was working. By the time he came out, his car was burnt. And they also set up race checkpoints to check if the passerbys were English or white before they would let them go. So at that time, as a migrant, the only thing you had on your mind was your personal safety, because there were instances where the police were visibly overpowered. But the good thing is that at the end of everything, more than 700 violent protesters were actually apprehended, they were captured, and their case is being dealt with. Most of them have also been jailed, and that is good. But if I bring myself to that instance at that time, the only thing on my mind as a legal migrant was, nobody is going to save me. I have to save myself. And this is where I almost got myself into trouble. In my mind, I have to secure myself, find something that can protect me, right, without harming any other person, because I cannot fight. If I meet two people and they are saying that, why are you in the UK illegally? They don't care whether you are legal migrant or illegal migrant. As far as these are violent protesters, and it's not all the protesters that were violent. Some were doing their genuine cause, right? But some were also very violent. They didn't care. They were actually breaking into shops. So they didn't care about you. So I was thinking, if I meet a couple of people that are part of the violent protesters and they want to face me, I'm not able to go in, I'm not able to fight them. I've never fought. I don't know how to fight them, right? And I cannot hold a stick or any harmful object to hit them. And in any event where somebody passes out, I would say it was self-defense. I don't want that trouble. So what is the safest way I can go to protect myself? Then I thought, I can actually go for pepper spray. So I went to Amazon, right? I looked through the options for pepper spray that I could buy. So before I added to my cart to purchase it, I wanted to be sure if the pepper spray would not affect me, the sprayer. I wanted to know how it would work because I've never used it. So I went to read about pepper spray, whether it will also affect me, the sprayer. In my course of reading about how pepper spray works, then I chanced on an information that in the UK, it is illegal to purchase, to use, to possess, to think of buying. Don't worry, don't mind me. It is actually illegal to have pepper spray with you in the UK. I was headed to prisons and I had no idea. But you see the rationale behind my thought of purchasing pepper spray. It was actually genuine, and I will show you. This is not one of those 3 laws that I've mentioned about. This is not part of the latent laws. They are actually serious about this law. Northern Ireland, the Justice Minister for Northern Ireland, her name is Naomi Long. Just this week in November, right? Just the early weeks of November, was asked, because there was a rise of sexual abuses going on, and women were complaining that they need to defend themselves. I've put the news there. She said women are not allowed to use pepper sprays because it can be used against them in the event of any sexual abuse. Also, it is illegal to use pepper spray in the UK. So in an extreme case where even vulnerable women have to protect themselves, the UK laws about using pepper spray still prevents them from using it. This is how you know it is serious, guys. I'm not sure how many people know about this law, but until I found myself in the position where I realized I cannot use pepper spray when I wanted to buy, I could have probably fallen for this law. And this does not just happen to me. I've heard stories where people are actually arrested at airports because they are traveling into the UK and they don't know that having or possessing pepper spray is illegal. So they are either fined or they are arrested. Now, let's get to the specific law. Pepper spray is classified as prohibited firearms under the Firearms Act 1968, Section 5. I'm going to paraphrase, right? It says that any weapon of whatever description designed or adapted for the discharge of any noxious liquid, gas, or other thing is actually classified as prohibited firearm. So this whole Firearms Act or Prohibited Firearms Act include guns, knives, and all of that. And pepper spray is classified with guns in that same category. Now, what this whole situation has taught me is, wherever you find yourself, when you travel, or even when you are living in a country where you think, oh, this is my own home country, so I know everything, make sure you read about their laws. Because here am I thinking that, well, this is the safest option. Getting pepper spray is the safest option to defend myself. What could go wrong, right? And for me, I'm happy to share it with you because this is a channel that is dedicated to sharing some of these important things. I'm not sure how many channels can share this. This is why you are supposed to share this video, like it, subscribe, and share it. Anyway, if you don't, next. Now, before we get to the last crazy law that I guarantee you will be guilty of, let me give you some honorable mentions. Like I said, there are a lot of laws in the UK that are like these kind of laws that I'm mentioning. I've only selected 5, but let me give you some honorable mentions. There will still be more even after giving you these honorable mentions, right? Do you know that in the UK, it is illegal to jump a queue at a tube or train station? Now, this is stated by the Transport for London bylaws. So you can find this in the Transport for London TfL bylaws, right? Also in the UK, dressing up as a police officer or as a member of the armed forces is illegal. You cannot even dress like that during Halloween as a police officer. It is illegal. And this is in the Police Act 1996, Section 90. Also in the UK, handling salmon suspiciously is illegal. You can find more about this. This is in the Salmond Act 1986, and the reason for this is to combat illegal fishing. The last two is that in the UK, knocking on doors and running away is illegal. One where case we used to do that. The final honorable mention I'm going to say is that in the UK, it is illegal to wash your car on a public street using a hose. So it's common to find people washing their cars, especially on roads or new roads or wherever they park their cars, washing their cars with soap and water. But in the UK, you better find out before you do anything like that, because you might be incurring a lot of cost for yourself. Now let's get to the last crazy law you are potentially guilty of. Imagine you are at home watching TV and having a cup of tea. It's a nice evening and nothing could go wrong, right? So you are flipping through the channels and you're probably watching news or you are watching some football match. Then all of a sudden you hear a knock on your door, but you're not expecting anybody, so you are cautious. Then you go and open the door. Then you see an officer standing there. Then he asks you, do you have a TV license? And you go like, TV license? I mean, I bought the TV with my own money and I'm watching the TV in my home. What else do I have? What do you mean by TV license? Well, you just broke the law and you are going to be fined £1,000 for watching TV without a TV license. Welcome to the UK. In the UK, it is illegal to watch TV without a TV license. Let's go into the law. The Communications Act 2003, Section 363 states, in summary, that it is illegal to watch TV or live programs without a TV license. Now, I'll try to read some portions of it, but you can pause the video to read everything. 363. License required for use of TV receiver. 1. A TV receiver must not be installed or used unless the installation and use of the receiver is authorized by license under this part. 2. A person who installs or uses a television receiver in contravention of subsection 1 is guilty of an offense. 3. A person with a television receiver, you can pause to read the rest. Now, the concept of TV license dates back to 1946 when it was introduced to fund BBC as the only broadcaster at that time. But over the years, the scope of the license has expanded and covers all live TV broadcasts on any channel and not just on BBC. Now, this is crazy because imagine you are watching a live program in Ghana on TV3 or in Nigeria on Channels TV. Then an officer shows up and tells you that you are fined 1,000 cedis or 1,000 naira for watching a live program on TV3, which is not the national television, or on Channels TV, which I'm not sure is the national television. How would, I'm pretty sure I can see the fight that will break out already. Now, the rationale behind this law is to allow BBC to remain free from commercial advertisement and maintain its public service broadcasting role. But there are instances, a lot of instances, where people have argued that this licensing fee and this law should be abolished. But as of 2024, November, that I'm speaking, this law is actually active. This is not one of the latent laws I've spoken about, the law 1, law 2. This is not one of the latent laws. This is actually an active law. As a matter of fact, in 2023, about 55,000 people were prosecuted for evading TV license. Now, this is a letter somebody received from TV licensing. Dear legal occupier, as you have not responded to our letters, you have left us no alternative but proceed with the final stages of our investigation. An officer has been scheduled to visit your property to find out if TV is being watched, recorded, or downloaded illegally. The officer may visit your property any day of the week, morning or evening. The information below explains the procedure. You may refer to it during the visit from the officer. Yours faithfully. Then it is signed. Now let's read the information below to get more detail. What you need to know about the enforcement process. We can apply to court for a search warrant to gain access to your property. An officer may interview you under caution in accordance with national criminal law. Anything you say to the officer may be used as evidence in court. Now, he says that You may have to pay a fine of up to £1,000 plus any legal costs and or compensation. If your property needs a TV license, you will still need to buy one. A reminder of the law. It's against the law to watch or record live TV without a license on any device. You also need a TV license to be covered for everything on BBC iPlayer. So there you have it. Let me know in the comment section which of these laws you think is crazy. Also, if you disagree with me about any of these laws I've mentioned, can you let me hear about it in the comment section? If you appreciate this content, type that in the comment section. If you have any idea of a video you want me to make for you, also let me hear of that in the comment section. I'm really looking up to it for your comments because your feedback is really helping me and your support is massive as always. Stick and stay. I'll see you in another video. All right, wait. I almost forgot. I promised I'm going to show you my wig. So as a man of my word, I'm just going to show you. This is too much.